Welcome back to the channel, brought to you by mhpwealth.com. As a mobile home park owner, effective management is essential to the success of your business. With proven management systems in place, you can increase rent collections, maintain high occupancy rates, ensure a beautiful park with no deferred maintenance, and facilitate great communication from your park manager. In this video, we will explore the various aspects of mobile home park management, from hiring a manager, the qualities to look for, where to find them, and how much to pay them, to dealing with, finding, and screening tenants. This is part one of a two-part series. Let's dive in. Most of the time when you buy a mobile home park, a manager will be in place and working for you on day one. This can be a good thing if they are competent or a bad thing if they are not. You might find yourself in a situation where there is no manager, or you must fire the current manager and explore new management options. When it comes to hiring a manager, one of the first decisions you'll need to make is whether to hire an on-site manager or use an off-site manager or system. An on-site manager lives within the park and is available to handle day-to-day operations, tenant concerns, and maintenance issues. An off-site manager, on the other hand, may live outside of the park and handle management duties remotely. There are benefits to both approaches, but many park owners prefer an on-site manager for the added level of oversight and quick response time. An on-site manager can also build relationships with tenants, which can lead to higher satisfaction and increased retention rates. Off-site management could include hiring a property management company or the use of systems developed by the park owner to handle park operations. I personally use an on-site manager in my parks. They typically have a quick response time when you may need to get a hold of them, and I like that they see what goes on in the park at all hours of the day. On-site managers typically only have your park to manage and tend to treat the property as their own, which can save you money and create a good-looking product. I tried using a property management company once and found them to be very unresponsive and expensive. They would spend thousands of dollars to hire contractors to complete work that could be done for a fraction of the price. These property managers may work great for apartment complexes, but most just don't understand the mobile home park business. Some park owners have off-site management systems where rent is mailed to a P.O. box, notices are mailed back to residents, evictions are handled by a local attorney, and maintenance is outsourced. One resident may receive a small compensation for being the on-site eyes and ears and reporting to the park owner. I don't see anything wrong with this if there aren't many park-owned homes or turnaround projects, but it may require more frequent visits to the park by the owner. When evaluating potential managers, there are several qualities and skills you should look for, including strong communication and interpersonal skills. A successful manager should possess strong communication skills to build relationships with tenants and handle conflicts effectively. The ability to listen actively, provide empathetic responses, and resolve conflicts in a timely manner can lead to higher tenant satisfaction and retention rates. Along the same lines, the manager must also be fair and treat the tenants equally when it comes to enforcing park rules. Next up, trustworthy. A park manager should have a high level of integrity and be able to maintain confidentiality with sensitive information. They should be transparent in their actions and decisions, and tenants should feel comfortable approaching them with any issues or concerns. There are times that the manager may have to handle cash or pay for certain expenses, so as a landlord, you want to make sure you have someone that you can trust in the position. Strong organizational skills. Organizational skills are essential for a mobile home park manager to manage various administrative tasks. These skills include the ability to keep accurate records, handle rent collections, and keep track of lease agreements. A successful manager should be able to prioritize tasks and manage their time efficiently. Pride of ownership. The manager should take pride in the appearance of the park and work to maintain it at a high level. This includes ensuring that the landscaping is well maintained, common areas are clean, and that any maintenance issues are addressed promptly. A well-maintained park can lead to increased tenant satisfaction and higher occupancy rates. Knowledge of maintenance and repair procedures. The manager should have a basic understanding of maintenance and repair procedures to address common issues within the park. This does not mean that they must carry out the work themselves, but they should be able to act accordingly when there is a maintenance issue. Finally, we have knowledge of state and local laws and regulations. While it's not necessary for a mobile home park manager to have extensive knowledge of state and local laws and regulations when they are hired, they should be willing and able to learn to stay within the guidelines set by these authorities. This includes having a basic understanding of the regulations regarding tenant relations, evictions, safety requirements, and other important issues. If you've decided that hiring an on-site manager is in your best interest, then the next step is to figure out where to find this person. Here are some strategies to help you find the right manager for your park. Consider hiring a current resident. If you have a current resident who has the qualifications and experience necessary to manage your park, consider hiring them. This can be a great way to build loyalty and retention among your residents. Look for the residents that always pay on time and have the nicest, well-kept homes and yards. This will indicate that they have pride in ownership and organizational skills. Next, you can advertise online. There are many job boards and classifieds where you can post your job opening, such as Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and even Craigslist. Make sure to include a clear job description, requirements, and compensation details. You can also use social media. Use platforms such as Facebook to advertise your job opening. Join relevant groups and communities to increase your reach. I find that Facebook Marketplace is a great resource to advertise in this industry. Finally, you can advertise to local traffic. Adding a sign outside of the park can be an effective way to attract potential managers. The sign should include a brief description of the available position, as well as contact information for interested candidates. The compensation you offer your manager will depend on several factors, including the market that you are in, the size and type of your park, if the park is fully operational or a turnaround situation, and the level of responsibilities required. Here are some compensation options to consider. Salary plus free lot rent. You can pay your manager a salary and offer to let them live in the park for free, which provides stability and can increase loyalty. This is the most common compensation between park owners. Another idea is offering an hourly rate plus benefits. You can pay your manager an hourly rate with benefits, which provides flexibility and can be more cost-effective. I don't use this method as it can be hard to accurately track hours, but it's worth mentioning. Performance-based pay. You can tie your manager's compensation to performance metrics such as occupancy rates and rent collections. You can also combine this with the other methods by offering incentives for selling homes or collecting a certain percentage of rent. Researching average pay rates in the area and adjusting based on the unique factors of the park can help determine a fair salary. Some additional factors to consider include free lot rent plus a small salary based on the number of occupied lots is a common compensation structure. Some investors use $10 per occupied lot as a good baseline. If the manager handles maintenance and repairs or landscaping, they would typically be paid a little more. Some park owners include utilities in the compensation package. More compensation may be necessary if there are a lot of park-owned homes due to the increased management necessary for turnovers, including cleaning, advertising, and lease signings. If you have a great manager, it's a good business decision to keep them well paid and happy, but not overpaid. A great manager can make and save you a lot of money in the long run. I'll give you an example of the manager's compensation in a park that I own. There are 47 occupied lots and about 10 park-owned homes currently. The manager currently handles rent collections, sending notices, evictions, rule enforcement, showing and selling park-owned homes, and responding to maintenance requests. She doesn't physically carry out the maintenance requests. We use a handyman for that. She receives free lot and home rent worth $700, $200 per month in salary, and her $200 electric bill is covered. She also earns bonuses for things such as selling park-owned homes or assisting with new home move-ins. You should keep in mind that a park that has good systems in place does not take a lot of time to manage. In the example above, it is expected that maybe 25 hours per month goes into managing that park. Once the park-owned homes are sold and the residents are taught to pay on time through strict rent collection policies, the work required for mobile home park management drastically decreases. A full-time manager is not needed until you get up over 100 lots or so, and even then, with good systems in place, it can seem like a part-time job. Managing tenants and residents is an everyday aspect of mobile home park management. We consider tenants people who rent your park-owned homes opposed to residents who own their own home and rent only the lot. As a park owner, you need to establish clear rules and regulations for the park that everyone must comply with. You also should have a way for tenants and residents to communicate any concerns or issues. Happy customers lead to higher satisfaction and retention rates. The following are some good management practices. Clearly outline the park's rules and regulations in the lease or a separate agreement to avoid disputes and ensure compliance. Establish a complaint and maintenance request procedure for residents to report issues. This is typically done by having them submit their request in writing to park management. You could consider buying a cell phone strictly used for park business and providing this number to residents. A Google Voice number could also be used. This is a number that you get to choose based on the area code that forwards to the Google Voice app on your smartphone. I use this and let all calls go to voicemail for screening purposes and then respond as necessary. Address disputes and complaints promptly and professionally to avoid escalation and maintain customer satisfaction. Implement a rent collection policy that is consistent and timely. This is also known as no pay, no stay. Keep a record of each resident's rent payment history, including the balance due and any late fees or charges. Keep up-to-date contact information for all residents, including phone numbers and email addresses. Maintain a copy of each lease agreement and ensure that it is signed and dated by both parties. I know some park owners who sign one lease when the resident moves in, let it expire, and continue the residency on a month-to-month basis. This is fine, but currently I renew leases on an annual basis as it gives me a clear argument to present to the resident when they break any rules. Collect and keep a record of security deposits for each tenant, including the amount and date collected. Keep track of home titles for park-owned mobile homes. Implementing a referral program to reward current residents for referring new residents to the park or offering move-in incentives can be a good way to rent vacant park-owned homes or fill vacant lots. Finding brand new tenants or residents for a mobile home park is usually not a problem if you are in a somewhat decent market, as the demand for low-income housing is so high. There are several effective methods to attract potential renters. First up is online advertising. With more people searching for housing online, it is essential to have a strong online presence for your park. Use websites like Craigslist, Zillow, and Facebook Marketplace to advertise your available lots or homes. I have found that these sites will drive most of your potential customers to you. Next, we have local classifieds. Local newspapers or community newsletters can be a great way to advertise your park, but I think this is somewhat dated and usually unnecessary. Another good way is through word of mouth. Encourage your current residents to refer friends and family to your park. Offer referral incentives such as a discount on rent or a gift card. Next up is park signage. You can place signs at the entrance of your park advertising available lots or homes. Make sure the signs are visible and easy to read. If you are still having trouble, try creating flyers and distributing them at local businesses or community centers. This is time-consuming and usually not needed, but it can be an option if you are struggling to fill vacancies. Finally, we have real estate agents. Partner with local real estate agents who can refer potential tenants to your park. By using a combination of these methods, you can attract a pool of potential residents that will ensure high occupancy rates for your mobile home park. Screening potential tenants and residents is a critical part of the mobile home park management process. Property owners want to ensure that the people who will be living in their park are responsible and reliable, pay their rent on time, and take good care of their homes. Here are some tips for screening new tenants. Start with a qualifying phone call. You want to try and qualify the tenant over the phone before going any further into the process. Ask questions like, are you employed? Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Have you ever been evicted? Do you have the money required to move in? When would you like to move in? and how many people will be living in the home. Let's talk about the credit check first. A credit check will give you a good idea of the tenant's financial situation and their ability to pay rent on time. However, this will usually eliminate most of your tenants in a mobile home park, and therefore we tend to take the weight off credit checks and look at the other information more closely. Next up is the criminal background check. It's important to check if potential tenants have a criminal record. You don't want to rent to someone who may cause problems in the park or put other residents at risk. Verify that the tenant is employed and has a stable income. This will help ensure that they are able to pay their rent on time. Typically, the standard is that they must make 3 times their monthly rent. Don't hesitate to reach out to their employer to verify that the information that they provide to you is correct. You should check the applicant's rental history to see if they have been evicted from a rental property in the past or have a history of not paying rent on time. Make sure to ask for personal references and actually call them to get a better idea of the potential tenant's character and reliability. By taking the time to carefully screen potential tenants, you can avoid problems down the road and maintain a high-quality community in your mobile home park. If you find that you can't get any tenants to meet your standards, then maybe consider that your criteria might be too strict for your area. Remember, we are providing affordable housing for people with low incomes who may not fit in the traditional single-family home renter pool. Mobile home park management does not require a unique set of skills and expertise. From finding and screening managers and tenants to maintaining the park and complying with regulations, there are many things that a normal person with decent common sense can handle. With proper management systems in place, it is possible to achieve near-perfect rent collections, high occupancy rates, and a beautiful park with no deferred maintenance. Prioritize effective communication, maintaining accurate records, and treating tenants with respect and fairness, and mobile home park management can create a thriving community that benefits both residents and investors. Ultimately, the success of a mobile home park depends on the commitment and dedication of its management team. This concludes part 1 of the 2-part series on mobile home park management. In part 2, we will cover rent collections, park maintenance, park-owned homes, filling vacancies, paying bills and reports, and record keeping. If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving us a like as well as subscribing to the channel for future content. For more information on mobile home park investing, visit us at mhpwealth.com. See you in the next one.